Going in to see this film, I'll admit to you guys that I had no real idea about the film's log line or even its structural approach to telling what turned out to be a deeply earnest foray into the life of one of the biggest rock and roll icons of my lifetime. Now, I like the fact that the film managed to avoid the whole cradle to the grave style plot structure that renders these types of films plotless at times, with a more episodic feel than anything else. Maybe in large part because of the fact that Bruce Springsteen is still alive, but seeing as how the movie is based on the book of the same name, the filmmaker simply wanted to focus on the truncated time period that Bruce spent dealing with depression as he tried to complete the Nebraska album, an album I actually know a little bit about, even though it was released when I was about 5 years old. Now, the film also uses a present-past style of storytelling to emphasize both Bruce's childhood experiences, mostly having to do with the rocky relationship he had with his father, and what inspired him to pen the songs he would later include on the Nebraska album. Now, Jeremy Allen White did an amazing job playing Springsteen. He brings an earnestness to the role that makes the character feel human in a way that most people don't get to see, or choose not to see, in an icon. The relationship between he and Faye, played by Odessa Young, gave the lead character dimension and balance as the film explored Bruce's failings as a lover with the ways in which he may have seen his father's failing as a parent. And his musical determination and loyalty to his artistic integrity felt brave even as he dealt with the fear of becoming more. The small writing was absolutely fantastic, with several lines of dialogue that felt just as poignant as the lyrics to Springsteen's songs, and of course, the music provided the perfect soundtrack for the journey the film takes us on, with a few moments that feel both nostalgic and inspiring all at once. The film felt paced fairly decently, and the elements of the story come together to create a film that you don't just watch, but that you can almost feel throughout. Now, overall, I'd give this film an 80%. Or an 8.0 if you're thinking IMDb score. Essentially a B for a letter grade. Now, I always tell people that biopics are a bit of a different animal in that structurally they feel different than fictional work, and topically they're much more niche than your run-of-the-mill dramatic work. My point is that you should only go and see them if you have legitimate interest in the subject of the film. Now, Springsteen is a boomer whose musical era overlapped into and heavily influenced the musical era of Gen X, my generation. And as a result, I remember a lot of the music he made in his 30s. My point is, this film is probably more for the older set because outside of true music lovers and historians, those are the people who care enough about Springsteen to truly appreciate the work of art that this movie truly was.